Urgent news from the Real Madrid camp. Vinicius Jr. has stopped all negotiations on a new contract and wants to leave the team. Arne Slot has set a new record with Liverpool. What does the Dutch beast create? Leao has come under the sights of Catalan Barcelona. And Manchester United has officially appointed Ruben Amorim as the head coach and is already preparing the first transfers for him. We're discussing this and more today. Friends, this is Dose of Football and the top 10 hottest news at this hour. Friends, yesterday we barely missed 5,000 likes, so I decided not to be a goat and release a video. I hope your support today will be simply overwhelming, and I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. Messi stole 4 golden balls. Such a conclusion can be drawn from the article of the 42 issue. While the topic of the golden sword theft is relevant, the portal has released a rating that cannot be ignored. One of the journalists from the publication compiled a top 10 of unfairly awarded golden balls. As you understood, Messi's name appeared there as many as 4 times. Of course, I won't fully retell the content of the article in the video, but you can take a look at our Fire in the Telegram channel and find the entire rating there. The link to the Telegram, as usual, will be in the pinned comment and in the description under the video. By the way, a cool prize draw has just started there, and it will only last a week, so be sure to drop by. Well, let's get back to Messi for his ongoing career. Depending on the version of the game, Messi managed to overtake Wesley Sneijder, Virgil van Dijk, Robert Lewandowski, and Erling Haaland. The tale of the Dutch midfielder is timeless. Many years ago, he won the treble with Inter and even made it to the World Cup final. But according to those who voted, he didn't deserve to be on the podium. Then all 3 places were shared among the representatives of Barcelona. Xavi and Iniesta for the victory in La Liga and the World Cup, and Messi for the same victory in La Liga and for high performance. In the Spanish championship alone, he scored 34 goals. If the award had been given to Iniesta, who scored the winning goal in the World Cup final, I think there would have been less controversy. And since the title went to the Argentine with only 1 trophy won, Bury had to wait. Van Dijk was really unlucky. He was literally a couple of votes short of becoming the first defender since Cannavaro to win the Golden Ball. I agree that the Champions League winner should have taken the award. I've said this many times and I'll say it again. He had a powerful season. Van Dijk at that time was one of the best defenders in modern football history. He was simply obliged to give the golden ball. But the PR machine overcame the influence on the field, and the award went to Messi. Since then, I don't even care about the Ballon d'Or. For me, it's completely discredited. Lewandowski should have been given the golden ball back in 2020, when he and Bayern Munich won the treble. But the France football portal canceled the ceremony due to COVID, and because the French Ligue 1 season was prematurely ended. It was just a shabby treatment of Robert and his beautiful game. He deserved to take the trophy, but in 2020, not a year later. The situation with Haaland has become more complex. Yes, the Norwegian scored a huge number of goals in his first season at Man City and helped the club win 3 trophies. But he was overshadowed by Messi's historic World Championship victory, which happened 9 months before the vote. In the end, the award went to the footballer from Argentina at that moment, and Haaland only got 2nd place. Leo often outperformed his rivals by inches. Let's not argue and say that his status and reputation helped him. This does not mean that Messi did not deserve recognition. Just in some seasons, other footballers should have been highlighted. But hype is hype. And of course, everyone is drawn to it. Surprisingly, Rodri got the award this season, considering the role he plays on the field. It seems that the entire football community literally hates Vinicius. By the way, it's understandable why. But the Real Madrid fans in Madrid, of course, are in the vocal minority. Manchester United has officially announced, guess what? That's right, about signing a contract with Ruben Amorim. The saga's over. The Red Devils quickly found a replacement for Erik ten Hag, and he will start working after the international break. Several interesting facts are associated with Ahmad's move to Manchester United. For example, the Portuguese became the youngest coach of the Red Devils in more than 50 years. Ahmad is now 19. Only Guinness was younger than him in the history of Manchester United, who coached United in the early 70s. Amari's salary and the criteria by which he was chosen by the Red Devils management also became known. In Sporting, the Portuguese earned about €2.5 million per season. The Red Devils agreed to arrange Amari's salary. That's how much his predecessor Erik ten Hag was earning. And that's about how much Arne Slot earns in Liverpool. Pep Guardiola has the highest salary in the Premier League. His annual salary is equal to £20 million. Mikel Arteta and Unai Emery are also among the top 3 leaders, 9 and 8 llamas respectively. We can conclude that Manchester United is indeed trying to economize, not giving huge salaries to new coaches. No matter what, the most interesting thing I left for last, namely, the list of criteria by which Manchester United chose Ruben Amorim. Let's quickly go through each point. The Red Devils have assessed that the Portuguese is a proven leader. He led Sporting Lisbon to 2 championships. He has a clear style based on the 3-4-3 scheme. He also knows how to work with young players. He has a strong charisma, and he stands out from the recent Red Devils coaches. That's the only unclear thing. Amari also fits well into the current sports structure. According to management's plans, he will be a key figure in the club's transformation. But I didn't see psychological stability in the list. And it should actually be the first criterion for choosing a coach for Old Trafford. He was in comfortable conditions at Sporting. As a player, Amorim spent almost his entire career in the Portuguese Championship, not counting a short stint in Qatar. Of course, he feels like a fish in water there. Ten Hag, among others, was also a winner before moving to Old Trafford. Remind me, how many championships did Ajax win under the leadership of the Dutchman? United, however, broke him. Amorim is undoubtedly a top-class specialist. His work at Sporting is remarkable. Not only did he lead the team to 2 championships, but he also managed to uncover a dozen talented kids and bring them into the elite of European football. But don't expect such ease in Manchester. And the pressure that will be exerted on the Portuguese specialist every day can break him, just like Ten Hag. So don't rush to give him advances, just wish him luck and patience. Fonseca came to save Milan, which is in crisis. Fans haven't seen such purposeful play from the team since the championship season under Stefano Pioli. In the future, Milan's game only degraded. And the peak came in the 4th season of the Italian coach, after which he was fired. But Fonseca was not able to quickly integrate into the team and solve Milan's problems at all. First of all, he did not get along with the characters of the team players. This often happens when, after a long stay at the helm of one coach, another coach comes with his own specific training and preparation. The team doesn't accept him, so they go their separate ways. To avoid such a scenario, the management should consider the candidacy of those candidates whom it considers for the position of coach. But in Milan, they didn't particularly value deep analysis. Everything there happened according to the motives of the fable, the swan, the crab, and the pike, where each member of the government tried to pull the blanket over themselves. But in the end, the victory went to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It was he who insisted on Fonseca's arrival. But agree, these are not the best prerequisites for the coach himself. He initially did not feel much support from the management. That is, no one would defend him in case of unsuccessful results. So it happened. And now, after only a few months of work in Milan, he is even threatened with dismissal. According to Calcio Mercato, the coach has 3 matches to improve the team's performance. His future in Milan will depend on the results of the games with Monza, Real Madrid, and Cagliari. If he fails to improve the team's position before the international break, then after it, Milan will already have a different coach. But, honestly speaking, the list of contenders doesn't inspire much confidence in me personally. According to the source, Milan is considering Maurizio Sarri, Massimiliano Allegri, Igor Tudor, and Edin Terzic. I can imagine how the club's fans are feeling right now. The team has only recently emerged from a difficult crisis and started to consistently take high places in the table. I hope the management can restore Milan to a mid-table status. He needs to approach the selection of a new coach carefully. It's just trying to patch a hole, hoping that the next coach doesn't get burned in difficult conditions. Guardiola's contract is ending. He hasn't said for sure that he's leaving Manchester City, but everything is leading up to this. There are no talks about extension. The coach himself has hinted a couple of times at a possible end of his journey at Etihad. Losing such a coach is not beneficial for the city's management. I think no one would object if Guardiola followed Ferguson's path and coached Manchester City until the end of his career. But what should the management do to increase their chances of extending the contract? Guardiola is indifferent to money, in the sense that he already earns more than anyone else in the Premier League. He wants new challenges. Meanwhile, the media are talking about the possibility of Guardiola working in international football, but they can't provide such an option. They have a narrow range of options to convince the Catalan. They can expand his responsibilities, thereby giving him a chance to try himself in a new role, or offer him a substantial signing bonus. But I will insist that money is the last thing Guardiola cares about. In the worst case, the management can sign someone the coach would like to work with. Under his wing, some of the strongest representatives of the football world are already performing. But there are still some players on the planet working with whom could interest Guardiola. For example, the most talented player from the current generation of German footballers, Florian Wirtz. By signing him, the Montiti management can increase the chances of extending the contract with Guardiola. Wirtz is now almost the main transfer target of all European grandees. And if the citizens win the competition, they will have an argument before the Catalan coach. Not that Wirtz's transfer guarantees Guardiola's retention, but his transfer could be one of many reasons why the Catalan will stay in Manchester. Nevertheless, I still feel that Guardiola's era at Etihad is coming to an end. Morally and physically too, it's probably also hard to stay in one position for so long. Sometimes hearts demand change, especially in football, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sergio Ramos has yet to decide on the team with which he will continue his career. Several rumors have been spreading about the Spaniard in recent months. He could go to the American Championship, join the Egyptian Grant, or return to Europe and help Juventus overcome the trauma of the main defender. But these were just rumors until they received authoritative confirmation. Therefore, the future of the Spanish defender is shrouded in the fog of war. The future of his career remains uncertain. But periodically, new guesses appear in the media. So, according to the latest information, Ramos may go to the Argentine Championship and join Boca Juniors. The team is now coached by Fernando Gago, who played with the Spaniard at Real Madrid. These two have only warm relations left from the time they played for the same team. They have stayed connected all this time. And the last time they spoke, Gago invited Ramos to come to him in the capital of Argentina. The Spaniard himself has a good attitude towards the local grandee. A couple of years ago, in an interview with the famous blogger Ibai Leonos, he stated that he sympathizes with the team and would like to play for it someday. Argentinian football appeals to me. They say stylistically I'm very similar to a local player. That's why I follow Argentinian football. In particular, I like Boca Juniors because of Juan Roman Riquelme and La Bombonera, Ramos said. And he really has a set of qualities suitable for Argentinian football. Someone will say that Ramos is a real lion, a warrior, the kind you still have to look for. But someone will call him a rat, ready to run to any tricks, just to hold on to the victory. In Argentine football, let's say, cunning is welcomed. But personally, it seems to me that if Ramos has not yet chosen a new destination for himself, then he is just waiting for the start of the Major League Soccer season to join San Diego. I'm sure he had plenty of opportunities to find a team, but if he still remains a free agent, it means he personally does not want to sign a contract with other clubs. And the only rational reason for such behavior is the desire to move to San Diego, which will only start its performances in Major League Soccer next year. After Amarma's appointment at Manchester United, the Portuguese will have the chance to meet the players and develop a strategy for the upcoming months. He will take on responsibilities immediately after the international break, when some of the players will be under his command. This time will give him a chance to adapt the team to his own vision and outline plans for the transfer window. It is known that Amorim requires high physical preparation and hard work from the players, and those who can't keep up will most likely not get consistent playing time. Bruno Fernandes's position, the team's captain and leader, is in question, but his inconsistent defensive play and lackluster behavior on the field could raise doubts for Amorim. However, he didn't fit Ten Hag's style. he might shine again under the leadership of the former coach. After all, it was Amorim who gave him a chance to shine in Sporting. Ugarte is a typical player for Amorim's system, which makes him a potentially valuable asset. Also, the problems of the Red Devils in defense require a strategy review, and Mourinho needs to rebuild the defensive line to adapt the team to the scheme with 3 central defenders. However, frequent injuries of key players limit his choice. Perhaps the club needs the transfer market, and the media are already pointing to a potential newcomer, Ousmane Diomande from Sporting. And although Diomande blossomed in Mourinho's system, the approach to attracting old players can be risky. Well, I don't want to see a repetition of Ten Hag's story. The Dutchman was burned by his former Ajax protégés, and it led to something. He was fired, and Manchester United possibly threw money away in the process. Buying players from a former club means not understanding how to manage existing resources. 1 or 2 is fine, but it's not worth building a club's transfer policy solely on players from your past project. Amorim should maximize the potential of the current squad based on the achieved results. Amarimov needs to build a new achieves results, revealing the potential of the current squad. Amarimov needs to build a new football philosophy based on the existing resources. If the Portuguese can motivate the team, maximizing each player, his appointment will be a real breakthrough for United. Milan is facing a problem not only with the coach, but also with the future Rafael Leao, who is in conflict with the head coach Fonseca. Fonseca demands more defensive work from Leao, but the forward is focused on the attack. And for this reason, he often ends up on the bench. This situation makes Leao think about leaving, and for him, the option with Barcelona is attractive, although at first this may seem advantageous for the president of the Catalans, who is actively being sold the idea of a transfer by Leao's agent and a longtime friend of Laporta. According to Releva, Milan is now ready to listen to offers for the player. But Matteo Moret notes that the management will demand a fair compensation for him, despite the conflict with the head coach. After signing the sponsorship contract with Nike, Barcelona may be able to find the funds for Leo's transfer. But the question is it worth spending a large sum on the next winger? The Catalans have more priority positions. For example, buying a new central forward. Not because Lewandowski is bad, but because he is old. His contract ends at the end of next season, and it's unlikely to be extended. Barca needs a central forward who can adequately replace the pole. Such people can be counted on one's fingers in the world. For example, Laporta dreams of Holland, and purely theoretically, one can imagine a Norwegian at Camp Nou. But still, Real Madrid is the favorite for Holland's transfer. No further information has been received so far. However, Barca may have luck in acquiring Victor de Crèche. The Portuguese beast doesn't know defeat to its rivals this season at all. He has scored a total of 16 goals in the Portuguese Premier League. In total, he has already scored 16 goals in the Portuguese Premier League. Only 10 matches were played in a minute, so you understand how effective he is. But of course, not only Barcelona lined up for the upcoming Sporting, you can now name any grant, and it will be interested in purchasing Decoratia. The competition for him is hellish. If Laporta doesn't miss such an opportunity, he will do a great favor to Flick and the whole team. There have been too many heavy clouds hanging over Vinicius lately. He had a weak classic, he was thrown with the golden ball, and his career at Santiago Bernabeu was also threatened. The Relevo publication reported that Vinicius has stopped any contacts with Madrid about the contract extension. As we recall, the Brazilian won't travel to Saudi Arabia. He puts sports ambitions first. Only then comes money, fame, and other attributes. In this context, it is unclear what served as the reason for such a decision. Madrid was going to offer improved conditions, but the Brazilian rejected all advances. I can assume that Vinicius was offended that Real was unable to present him with the golden ball and influence the decisions of some footballers. But if there was such a thing, it would influence the decisions of some footballers. But if there was such a thing, it didn't help the Brazilian win the most prestigious trophies. There just aren't many other options. There's also a presumption that he feels a storm brewing in Madrid and does not want to commit to a lifetime performance at Real. But that's just a theory, Maybe he's just tired of defending this royal club. That could be true. Ultimately, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But it's unlikely that any club will be able to match Manchester City's strength. But the citizens are also expecting a difficult period after Guardiola leaves his post. So there will be no stability anywhere. If Vinicius decides to leave Real, he can expect a bunch of other challenges in his new club. The current list of contenders suggests that it would be better for him to stay in Madrid. The source claims Chelsea, Passage, and Manchester United are interested in him. Moving from a relatively stable Real to such crisis clubs seems like sheer madness. Undoubtedly, they are capable of overwhelming him with money. But what about sports ambitions? He can win the French championships year after year with Paris Saint-Germain, but it's not the same as in Stockholm. Chelsea hasn't seen any trophies since Tuchel's time. Boyle is trying in Stockholm. Chelsea hasn't seen any trophies since Tuchel's time. Boyle is trying to come up with some cunning scheme, but so far he's just making a decent selection of memes. And Manchester United is Manchester United. No one knows what awaits the club under the leadership of Ruben Marima. Now they predict a great future for him, but who knows what his career at Old Trafford will turn out to be. In short, the prospects are mediocre, so he might risk his entire career for unclear prospects. Liverpool bosses, of course, risk their entire career for unclear prospects. Liverpool bosses, of course, are watching our channel. And the last issue is no exception. Having watched it, the management decided not to buy Amara Marmouche or Marmouche. You correct me. The upcoming from Eintracht have a unique specificity. As soon as they leave Frankfurt, they immediately stop being key players. In short, Liverpool's management refused the idea of buying Marmouche, but they continue to look for a footballer who will be able to replace Mohamed Salah. According to the latest information, the scouts are looking at two wingers from the Premier League. First of all, they are attracted by the prospect of signing Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. The forward has shot in this season. In the Bombardier race, he is right behind Erling Haaland. However, Brentford has no reason to part with the forward. He still has 2 years left on his contract, which means the management will make Liverpool pay a huge compensation. Another backup option is the forward Simon Bournemouth. His signs are humbler. He scored only 4 goals and gave 1 assist in 10 APL rounds. But you'll agree, none of these guys are anywhere near being a direct replacement for Salah. They are great wingers, but for mid-level APL teams. They don't seem like the ones who can pull up Liverpool's level. But why not go to the market with Kauser for a Vinicius transfer? If the Brazilian really wants to change his club registration, why wouldn't he join one of the best APL clubs? Yes, he is not a right winger and will not be a direct replacement for Salah. But there are so many versatile forwards in Liverpool that Arne Slot will definitely find a way to solve this problem. At the very least, you can simply move Gagba to the right flank and give Vinicius the left one. This is an ideal opportunity for the Skeizers, as it's a great time to buy such a star player. He's unhappy with the situation in Madrid, angry at the world for the golden ball, and wants to change the scenery. Liverpool once hunted for the forward, and now he himself has expressed a desire to leave. And that means it's time to act. The Reds are one of the few who can offer Vinicius a match for his ego ambitions. They are constantly fighting for the English Premier League title and also reach the final stages in the Champions League. Vinicius, on the other hand, will bring with him a winner's mentality. Not that there were any problems with him in the team. Only one McAllister's worth it. But there are a few players in the attacking line who have lifted big trophies. Only Salah. But it appears the Egyptian has been contemplating football retirement for a while. And Vinicius is young and motivated. He has a lot of experience in winning big tournaments. Theoretically, he can lead the entire team in the last seasons. Important last seasons have occurred in the English Premier League tournament table. Important changes have occurred in the English Premier League tournament table. Liverpool held a commanding victory over Brighton, Manchester City lost to Bournemouth, and Newcastle United defeated Arsenal. The match against the Magpies started off poorly for the Gunners, and Arteta's team couldn't create a dangerous moment, while the Magpies played with enviable activity and even scored a goal. However, in the second half, the Liverpool team transformed. Slot made important corrections, and soon dangerous breakthroughs began in Brighton's defense. In the end, thanks to Nunez's maneuver, Cody Gagba scored the first goal. Then Salah with his signature strike put Liverpool ahead, and this match ended with a victory for the Reds. Slot now has 8 victories in the starting 10 Premier League matches. And believe it or not, this is a new record. Previously, no coach has been able to achieve such a result in his first season at Anfield. His colleague and owner of a similar haircut were less fortunate. His team played against Bournemouth and failed to take 3 points. How did she play? She suffered more from the poor performance of Erling Haaland. The great and terrible Norwegian managed to ruin 3 big moments. In the end, he didn't distinguish himself with an ugly goal, despite the whole team playing for him. Because of the poor realization of his main Galactico, Manchester City lost that duel, breaking their unbeaten run, and the APL table looks like this. Liverpool's in first place. The APL table looks like this. Liverpool's in first place with Manchester City in second. Arsenal currently holds the 3rd position. Surprisingly, Nottingham Forest is in the last Champions League spot. Finally, we see some underdogs. We must praise Nuno Espirito Santo for his excellent work. He moved to a team that was in the relegation zone. Somehow, he managed to keep them up. After a preseason work, he turned them into a new top team of English football. Moreover, Nottingham tries to play beautifully. It's not like the team is sitting back in defense while being pressed from all sides. She herself goes into the fray and now reaps the fruits of such a cruel game. Nottingham is unlikely to remain at the top for an extended period. He has a tough schedule ahead. Nevertheless, this team deserves praise. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel. Friends, don't forget that Doza Football now has a radio show. The link is in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to our Telegram channel. There's a giveaway going on right now. It will last exactly a week. Well, my name is Kirill Cast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house, and you'll hang, friends.